Life has really given us some existing frameworks that we generally use to decide and think about things. Pathogenesis in health is thought about the origins or causes of disease, while Umar Sheikh in Betterness says this is also a paradigm or way of thinking that's used in business. It's really used in life because it's about how we think about our responsibilities, the things we have to do to avoid undesirable outcomes. Salutogenesis in health is about the origins or causes of health. Actually, it's really about what can create opportunities. How can we realize opportunities that we wouldn't otherwise? The assumptions that underlie each of these frameworks is what differentiates each of them. Most importantly, the starting point is different. A starting point for a pathogenic or traditional framework is to start with a problem, a disease, or something that you don't want and think, how can we get rid of that problem? Work back and figure out what caused the problem and eliminate that so that we can be back to not having a problem. Salutogenesis, or the opportunistic framework, instead looks at how could we create a new reality, a better thing than we have right now, and actually isn't even possible right now. What will we have to do to create a new reality? So we start with idealizing an outcome, thinking about what could be instead of what do we want to get rid of with the pathogenic framework. So in essence, pathogenesis is about avoiding problems, while salutogenesis is about approaching a potential. So pathogenesis reacts to problems. It says, uh-oh, here's a problem, how do we fix it? Salutogenesis tries to generate something new, to create something that couldn't exist otherwise, something better than it would be. And how could that happen? An assumption that's quite different on each of these is that although pathogenesis is about problems, it says we believe things basically are great if we just keep the bad causes away. In health, it assumes that humans are inherently healthy unless some pathogen or virus attacks them. Where in salutogenesis, the assumption is, bad things could happen. We need to right now focus on how do we create good outcomes and what do we need to do to create those good outcomes so if something does come along, we're ready, protected, and more likely to keep functioning good and overcoming any obstacles that we may incur. So pretty much what Jim Collins showed us in Good to Great in his books, and then how we have to continually do things that lead to desired outcomes if we want to have a better outcome. So pathogenesis then is idealistic. It's saying, we're pretty good, just keep how we are. Whereas salutogenesis, although Antonovsky, the developer of the model, says it's pessimistic, is really realistic. It's saying, we've got to cause good things to happen. They're not just going to happen by doing nothing. As Tal Ben-Shahar showed in Happiness, if we do nothing, we're guaranteed unhappiness. If we want to be happy, we got to make things and do specific things to cause that to happen, which is really the second law of thermodynamics, when it says the system left to itself moves towards chaos. If we want to have things turn out as desired, we must cause those things to happen. Think, what do we need to do to create a desired outcome? Otherwise, the outcome will be not what we're hoping for. So pathogenesis is against pain and loss, while salutogenesis, or the opportunistic framework, is about growing and gaining and becoming what we could be. Pathogenesis prepares us to live, while salutogenesis seeks to discover how to achieve optimal health or optimal well-being, or discover how we can live fully. Pathogenesis is about not falling back, while salutogenesis is about how to move forward. Salutogenesis is about continually and never-ending improving itself. Pathogenesis, on the other hand, is just about not getting worse. We want to keep getting better, and if we want to keep getting better, we need to focus on a salutogenesis framework and how do we look for new opportunities that can make it better each time. So the measurements are quite different. In pathogenesis, we're measuring an endpoint, looking for neutrality, and that there is not a problem, and we've minimized the problem. Where salutogenesis has no endpoint, it's just about progress. Are we moving towards where we want to be? Are we creating that optimal potential? Are we continually growing? Are we finding out new opportunities? I liken this to what Mother Teresa was reported to have said when they asked her if she'd be a march against the war. She said no, she wouldn't be a march against the war because what you're against is disempowering. What you're for is empowering. She wanted to be in a march for peace. And I think we need to be for what we want to create, not against what's not desired. We want to think, how do we create a new reality? How do we create a better reality? And if we do create this better reality, those problems and things we're concerned about, those will dissolve, because this better reality wouldn't have overwhelming problems, because it wouldn't be a better reality then. So we need to focus on what we're for, creating this better, more opportunistic reality, having these opportunities. I write about this some in Salutogenesis 30 years later. Where do we go from here? There's an article published in 2010, and you can access it free online at this link. I hope you'll take an opportunity to be for a better tomorrow that we can all create together. Thank you.